The reality is that the cartoon was made 85 years ago, and therefore it's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power and what a woman is fit for in the world. And so when we came to reimagining the actual role of Snow White, it became about the fairest of them all, meaning who is the most just and who can become a fantastic leader. And the reality is, Snow White has to learn a lot of lessons about coming into her own power before she can come into power over a kingdom.
Also, the fact that she's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's the proactive one, and she's the one who set the terms, is what makes it so relevant to where we are today.
You know what, girls? Disney's got itself a real mess, and it's juicier than any fairy tale they've ever told. The live-action Snow White remake is spinning into pure chaos. And honestly, it's giving Hollywood disaster of the decade. Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot are reportedly at each other's throats, turning the set into a battleground that's got Disney executives pulling their hair out. And let's be real, with CEO Bob Iger doubling down on his controversial DEI agenda, this whole thing is shaping up to be a PR nightmare. Disney cannot afford. Now, not to be a hater, but Zegler's clashes with Gadot have gone way beyond side-eye moments. We're talking screaming matches, canceled promo events, and reshoots so expensive. They've already sunk over $300 million into this sinking ship. And if you don't know, girls, it gets worse. Test screenings have flopped 6 times in a row. 6. Meanwhile, Rachel's been pointing fingers at Gal for what she's calling performance mishaps. But Gal's not here for it. She's clapping back hard, and the drama is spilling all over Hollywood. Disney is scrambling, like full-on damage control mode, because their marketing plans are in shambles. The release date might get pushed, and the whole thing is looking like the ultimate woke fairy tale gone wrong. But let's not kid ourselves. This isn't just about Zegler's alleged diva behavior. Sure, she's reportedly been hard to work with. But is she really the villain here? Or is Disney's production process the real train wreck? Here's the tea. Disney has a history of messing up these live-action remakes. Their desperate attempt to modernize classics by pushing divisive agendas is rubbing audiences the wrong way. And let's not forget, casting Zegler, a loud critic of Disney's traditional narratives, alongside Gadot, who isn't exactly shy about defending herself, was bound to blow up. Sources say Zegler's been difficult, blaming co-stars for her bad takes and production delays. But let's be real. Disney's inability to manage on-set drama and keep the creative vision on track is a massive L on their part. They've poured hundreds of millions into a film plagued by infighting, disastrous marketing, and endless reshoots. So girls, the question is Rachel Zegler the villain of this story? Or is Disney just as guilty for creating this chaos? One thing's for sure, this scandal is about to shatter Disney's fragile reputation, and I am living for the fallout. You know what, girls? I'm not a hater, but can we talk about how Bob Iger just keeps doubling down on Disney's political and social drama? Like, sir, read the room. All this mess is doing is pushing away the OG Disney fans and putting their stars under a magnifying glass they never asked for. Take Zegler, for example. She's out here in the hot seat, catching all the heat, while Disney sits back acting like they're not the ones who lit the match in the first place. Sure, she's adding fuel to the fire, but let's not pretend Disney isn't the one that built the bonfire. The whole thing reeks of desperation and dysfunction, and it's honestly kind of embarrassing. And let's not even get started on Gal Gadot. Her reaction to Zegler's accusations has shifted so much over time, it's giving whiplash. It's like the tension between the Disney cast is about to snap, and honestly, who's surprised? This isn't just a Zegler problem, it's a Disney-wide dumpster fire, and everyone's feeling the heat.
It's incredible, like Rachel said, I can't wait for everybody to see the movie. It's classic and beautiful and inventive, it's just magical.
Yeah, as a diehard Disney fan myself, who I feel like I see every release and opening weekend,
it's like getting to show it to your best friends in a way that you're just like, you won't believe what we did. And so it's been really, really amazing to get to hear their live reactions too. It's just such an instant gratification that what we made is cared about so much, and that's a really wonderful thing.
I'm always grateful, and I have to pinch myself for the love and the appreciation and the respect that we get from our incredible audience. So yes, I'm very, very lucky, grateful, and privileged for all this love.
You know what, girls? I'm not one to stir the pot, but this tea about Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler, it's scalding hot and spilling everywhere. What started as quiet professionalism on Gal's part has now turned into what some might call a full-blown breaking point. And honestly, it's giving Disney drama like we've never seen before. In the beginning, Gal was playing the perfect diplomatic co-star, brushing off whispers about Rachel's erratic behavior and the growing tension on set. She kept her Wonder Woman-level composure, even when Rachel reportedly started pointing fingers left and right, blaming Gal for her bad acting takes, flopped test screenings, and even canceled promo events. Like, girl, is it really giving main character energy or just chaos? But listen, patience has its limits, and apparently, Gal's reached hers. Sources are now saying that she's done, like done. No more taking the high road, no more smiling through the diva tantrums. Every jab, every accusation, every meltdown from Rachel has been building up, and now Gal's finally letting her mask of professionalism slip. And honestly, can we blame her? Here's the real tea though. This isn't just about two stars beefing on set. It's a full-blown toxic mess that Disney execs can't just gloss over with a few reshoots or some shiny PR statements. The tension between Gal and Rachel is only symptomatic of deeper issues within the House of Mouse. How does a mega production like Snow White spiral into this kind of chaos without anyone stepping in? Like, is there even a captain steering the ship, or are they just winging it? When someone as seasoned and composed as Gal goes from peacemaker to, let's be real, an active participant in the drama, it's a red flag about just how messy this set must be. And let's not forget, this isn't just bad press for Disney. It's a full-on indictment of how they're managing their talent and productions. So girls, here's the big question. Is this feud between Rachel and Gal just a distracting sideshow, or does it reveal something way bigger, like cracks in Disney's entire creative strategy? Because if you ask me, this feels less like Snow White and more like a behind-the-scenes soap opera. Disney, sweetie, you okay?
You know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
So no prince, or a different kind of prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story, just because like we cast a guy in the movie,
Right.
Andrew Burnap, great dude.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I think everyone's going to have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby. But it's one of those things.
So true,
it's
yeah.
an inner journey that she goes on to find her true self, and she meets a lot of people along the way that make the journey really.
You know what, girls? Let's talk about the mess that's unfolding over at Disney. Because this drama between Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot isn't just serving tea, it's spilling the whole pot. Sure, their feud is stealing all the headlines, but can we be real for a second? This might not just be a catfight. It's giving major Disney's got bigger problems vibes. At first glance, this feels like your typical Hollywood clash. Two divas letting their egos go rogue. But dig a little deeper, and you'll see this isn't just about Rachel and Gal throwing shade. Nope. This is a symptom of something much bigger. Disney's creative vision is messier than a glitter bomb in a hurricane. Let's not forget, the live-action Snow White remake was already a ticking time bomb, with its politically charged plot and sky-high expectations. Instead of leaning on their A-list stars to hype up the movie, Disney somehow turned the whole thing into a circus of finger-pointing and behind-the-scenes drama. And honestly, Rachel calling the shots and Gal clapping back didn't happen in a vacuum. It's all wrapped up in Disney's obsession with shoehorning social and political agendas into their stories, without figuring out how to make it work without blowing up in their faces. The result? A hot mess of clashing egos, production delays, and a PR nightmare. And let's be clear, Disney's damage control strategy is giving major too little, too late energy. If you don't know, girls, this feud isn't just petty. It's a neon sign screaming that Disney's got some serious problems in the leadership department. They're spending more time putting out fires than making movies that balance progressive themes with the magic we all grew up loving. Instead of being the fairy tale dream factory, Disney's starting to look like the house of chaos. And here's the tea. If they don't figure out how to manage their talent, tighten up their creative direction, and stop forcing ideological standoffs into their films, Snow White is going to end up as just another flop in their recent streak of failures. The stakes couldn't be higher. Everyone's watching to see if Disney can pull it together, or if the whole castle's about to come crumbling down.
Leave the scene, I turned to the camera and I was like, Gal's mad. It was
Yeah.
but then you were FaceTiming your kids right after,
Yeah.
being like, hi, you so much. It's
Yeah.
so good. I mean, yeah, sure. I had
know why?
I had no idea what I was auditioning for when I auditioned. So it's a kind of a hilarious question to say, what drew you to the material? Is that, I didn't realize that I was reading lines with Dopey. It said, Jeff and Amy were reading lines.
For me, what drew me to the material, first of all, I'm all about the people. And when I spoke about this project with Mark Platt, whom I adore, who's the producer of the movie, and Mark Webb, our wonderful visionary director for this movie, I was all in already. Also, there's something so iconic about being part of the first, fairy tale ever told by Disney. It's the first, long animated movie ever to be released, and to be able to do the evil queen, which is so much different than anything else I've ever done, and to be able to dance and sing and to work with Rachel and Andrew and our amazing cast and crew, I was...
So girls, don't be a stranger. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for our next video. You won't want to miss it. Trust me, it's going to be a wild ride.